Hey everybody, Julie here from Mostly Caffeinated. I thought I would start talking here today about minimalism from a kind of idealistic standpoint, or about the KonMari method in its basic principles. Sorry, you're moving a little bit here. Because I feel like I mention these things offhandedly here on my channel because I do them, but that I've never really explained why I do them or, how they benefit me. So, if you're curious, I've got kind of a summary blog post that I can link down in the description, if I remember, that just went live on my blog today about 5 reasons that, not reasons, really, 5 ways that, aspiring to minimalism has changed my life. And I'm not about sensationalizing things. I mean, I don't use my words lightly. I studied linguistics in college. I know about connotations. I know that's an extreme thing to say, that it changed my life. And I don't say that about just anything. This really did change my life. And I know I have a tendency to ramble when I get into kind of the underpinnings of things. So I'm just going to tackle this one category at a time, not all 5 in one video. But the first thing that I mentioned in my blog post is simplifying gift giving and gift receiving and purchasing. So let's talk about that one today. Let's talk about purchasing and gift giving. Now, prior to discovering the KonMari method and giving minimalism a go, prior to that, I think we were a very typical American family. Christmas was a time to receive a bunch of gifts to try to build as much excitement as possible. Easter was another chance to give gifts. Birthdays were another chance to give gifts. Anniversaries, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, everything was a chance to give gifts. And it was almost a competition within our family to give the best gifts, the most interesting gifts, the most on point for the recipient gifts. Not in that we got nasty or dramatic or anything. It was kind of an unsaid thing to try to outdo the other relatives in giving gifts. Not necessarily in amount spent, just in how awesome the gift was. And even my husband and I did this. We would always joke that we were bad gift givers. Specifically me, really. My husband has a tendency to come up with really thoughtful, sweet gifts. He always has been that way. He was the boyfriend who brought me flowers. He wrote me poems. He would draw me little comic strips, adorable things like that. And I was the person rushing at the last minute to the local department store to buy him anything on the day of his birthday and wrap it up quick and give it to him. And we realized that just wasn't how we wanted to do things. There was not really a point in me running to the store at the last minute and trying to find anything, something that would speak to his personality. It's not the essence of gift giving. So we started there. We started with my husband and I stopping the exchange of gifts. Because we just had too much stuff. We had closets full of stuff. The home we owned before this one was a 2-story, 3-bedroom home. 2 living rooms, 2 bathrooms, a dining room, a full basement, all that shebang. And it was full. We packed it full of stuff. It's like we moved into that house and we had extra rooms. We had to fill them with things. We wanted to fill up the walls. We wanted to fill up the cabinets. It was like fill it up. And we had a lot of stuff and we didn't use any of the stuff and we didn't like the stuff and it was in the way. So when we first gave up gift giving, it began with Christmas. We stopped purchasing gifts for each other for Christmas. And we decided to use our credit card rewards points to buy ourselves one larger purchase that we really wanted for our home. We bought a KitchenAid stand mixer. We have used that at least weekly since we got it. It's been a good investment. We got a new vacuum cleaner one year. We got a new television one year. As in, we had one TV in our whole house, and it was a giant tube TV that weighed 50 pounds. And every time we had to move it, I was terrified that my husband was going to fall down the stairs. So we replaced that one TV with one moderately sized flat screen TV. That's it. That's all we had. And then when we had children, we realized we didn't want to perpetuate this lifestyle of more possessions, of have all the things. We didn't want to do that to our kids. We wanted them to grow up simply. We wanted them to grow up valuing the few things that they did have rather than getting more all the time. We didn't want greedy children. We didn't want spoiled children. We didn't want children who had so many things that they just couldn't value them. So we decided, I found on Pinterest, and you can find this pin linked in my blog post. We found on Pinterest the concept of 4 gifts at Christmas. Something you can wear, something you can read, something you just want for fun, and something to read. And that's what we followed with our kids ever since they were born. A book, something that's useful and practical, like new sheets, a new pillow, a new jacket, something like that. Something to wear. Usually this is their Christmas outfit, so usually they buy it and wear it before really Christmas, but that's okay. And then one thing that's fun. And I try even not to make that fun thing a toy, just because they get so many toys from other people, they don't need one more toy from their mother. So I try to have it be an art supply, or a ticket to the children's museum, or my oldest son, he's 3, he likes records. So sometimes I'll buy him a record I think he'll particularly enjoy. Things like that. And we follow that rule with our children. So tops under the tree, there are 9 presents. And this last year, my husband and I started something even different. This most recent Christmas, I'd been through 3 rounds of KonMari minimalizing. And we just keep downsizing. And we didn't even want one thing. Sorry, that was my phone. There was no one thing that we even wanted, even a bigger purchase. We had just bought this beautiful new home that was far more expensive than our last home. We didn't want for anything. So we actually took a vacation, and not a spendy vacation. We took, I think it cost me $200. We rented a cabin for 2 days with our best friends. And we left all of our children with babysitters, and we just went to this cabin, and we did nothing together. We turned off our phones. We didn't bring computers. We watched movies. We played cards. We ate food. We drank coffee. We talked. We napped. It was beautiful. That was our Christmas gift to each other. And I think that's going to continue. I think we'll do that every year. We loved it so much. There's a blog post about that too, about how wonderful that vacation was and why it was so wonderful and how to get your life to be more like a vacation. Anyway, so that's our gift giving. And in the meantime, this doesn't always work. You can't always get everyone in your life on board with simple gifts and minimal gift giving. But we did manage to convince my husband's large family, very gift-centric, very material possessions-centric family, to exchange names. And that might sound crazy that we hadn't done that before, but up until 2 years ago, there are 16 people in this family, and we were each buying 16 gifts. Not even like gifts for couples. Each person in the family received their own pile of gifts. And while it was fun, and I do have wonderful memories of those times with my in-laws, it almost makes me ill to think about the scene that it was. If an outsider, a person from a foreign country, or a person from a less affluent family had seen it, it would have just been sickening. The 16 of us would sit in the living room. There were so many gifts that the Christmas tree, I'm not exaggerating, the Christmas tree halfway up was obliterated by presents. They had to move furniture out of their living room to fit the gifts. And we would sort them by person, to make it quicker to open them. And when your gifts were sorted in front of you, you quite literally could not get up. You couldn't leave the room. There was a wall of gifts 3 or 4 feet high around each person. It was disturbing how many gifts there were. And the total budget that went into this was outlandish. And the time spent shopping and wrapping and how much we had to call each other to make sure we weren't doubling up on presents. It was crazy. It was crazy. So finally, 2 years ago, we convinced everybody to exchange names. And that reduced our budget. We did choose a number that each sibling was comfortable with spending. It was a little bit more than we'd been spending because of all the different people, So it was a little bit more per person, but you only had to buy for one person. So what this resulted in was each person receiving more like 2 presents, because my husband's parents do still buy for everybody. They like to do that. Fine. So we get 1 present from them and then 1 present from the person who chose our name. So you get like 2 larger presents instead of literally 16 just whatever presents, things maybe you didn't even want or need because the budget was lower. So we've convinced them to do that. Now our children still come home with a mountain full of presents. We're working on it. We're working on encouraging our family members to purchase museum tickets, music lessons, things like that for our kids, or consumable things, snacks that mom doesn't like to buy. Both grandmas do buy my kids fruit snacks because I don't buy fruit snacks. But that type of thing. So that's where our gift giving sits now. In the future, as our number of children increase, as we take in foster and adoptive children into our home, we may have to change that up a little bit. It's possible that even with the name exchanging and trying to reduce the gifts at our in-laws' house, that a child coming from a different home life may be very overwhelmed. It might make them quite uncomfortable. It's possible that our new child will come from a place of very, very few gifts, of not the ability to celebrate in this way. And I don't want to bring them into our lifestyle and introduce them to this and have them feel that their past holidays were inadequate or that we only care about things and we don't care about them. So if we have to ask to flex on this gift giving, if we have to reduce our gift giving even more, all the better. That would be fine. And then purchases. Let's talk about purchasing things. I am an avid thrift shopper, okay? You've seen my thrift hauls here. Maybe at the end, maybe that's what I'll link in the end screen. We'll see. Or I'll put an icon here. But you've seen my thrift hauls. I do love to thrift. I still love to thrift. But what has changed is I don't just go thrifting to go shopping. And I didn't even really think I was doing this until I stopped. But I used to be like, oh, I'm kind of bored. I need one thing. I'm going to run to the Goodwill. And I would go through there and look at every department, look at everything, and come home with $30 worth of stuff when I went in for one thing. I don't do that anymore. I go to Goodwill once a month, and I have a list in hand of things I actually need that I'm looking for. And what I find off that list is what I come home with. I don't come home with extra things. So I went one trip recently because my husband needed ties. He needed ties because 3 of his ties were broken. The stitching was coming undone. They were fraying. The silk was actually breaking in areas. Like, they were done for. There was no saving them. I've sewed his ties back together so many times. So I went looking for ties for my husband, and I had a list of a few other things. I came home with ties for my husband. It was beautiful. I don't thrift spontaneously for clothes. I only go a couple times a year looking for clothes for my capsule wardrobes in places where I specifically have gaps. Same thing with my children. I go twice a year to shop for clothes for my children. Once in the spring to shop for summer clothes, and once in the fall to shop for winter clothes. And that's it. I hit up the kids' consignment shop in the town where I grew up, and I usually find everything I need there for about $50 twice a year. That's it. That's all I do. And this is twofold. I mean, you're saving money, but also I'm not bringing junk into my house. I am not filling up this new house with all of its beautiful storage space. I have empty closets. My basement is completely empty. And that's the way I like it to be. That means I don't have things just because I want to possess them. And that's really what this is about. I don't possess material goods just for the sake of having them. It brings me no actual comfort or joy or feelings of success to own more things. And I think about that when I'm about to buy things. Do I actually want this, or do I just want to have something? Am I looking for excitement? Am I looking for something new? Maybe what I should do instead is color my hair. Maybe what I should do instead is try wearing something I already have a different way. Maybe what I should do instead is paint a wall. Maybe I should reorganize a cupboard. If I'm looking for something new, maybe it's not that I'm looking to buy something new. It's just how it is. And it's lowering my stress levels in all kinds of ways. You know, as you're less stressed about your budget, you're less guilty about your impulse purchases. I don't feel the need to shop. It's like the less I shop, the less I feel like shopping. I just don't want fly-by-night items in my house. I don't want to say, but it was only $3, and then have it just sit there and be $3 of things I didn't need. I don't purchase things just because they're cute or fun or trendy or it might be nice. I have to have a real definite need before I'll purchase anything. And usually I think through if I can use that item in more than one way, or if there's some plan B that I can do with it if plan A turns into clutter. I've been thinking for months about buying bookends to go right behind where my computer is. I have books and binders and things. I keep thinking, do I need bookends? Do I need bookends? I want bookends. I want bookends. But every time I look at bookends at the store, I just think, but the books are standing up. It's fine. And if I were to choose all of a sudden not to use these bookends here on my desk, where would I put them? I wouldn't. I wouldn't have anywhere to put them. There's no plan B for these imaginary bookends. So I'm not buying them. I'm just not. I look at coffee mugs at the thrift store, and every time I do, I say, are these cuter than the 3 coffee mugs that I have that I really, truly love? And they never are. And they're never going to be. Because this coffee mug has my favorite literary quote on it. My gray coffee mug has my favorite Bible quote on it. And my white coffee mug says, Mom, life is the best life. There it is. I got a mug about Jesus, a mug about books, and a mug about being a mom. And those are the 3 things I love the best in life. How am I ever going to find a coffee mug that beats those? I'm not. So I don't need to even look at them anymore. Unless I break one of my 3 treasured coffee mugs, there's no reason to be looking at those anymore, ever again. Contentment. Contentment is the basis of all of this. I don't need more Christmas presents, and my kids don't need more Christmas presents, because we are content with what we already have. I don't need more things, more clothes, more kitchen gadgets, more decorations, because I'm content with what I have. And that's a really peaceful feeling. I have everything I need. I have way more than everything I need. Oh my goodness, I could live with so much less than I have right now. Are you kidding? Like, America has got to be one of the only cultures where this is even a problem. I bet I wouldn't be talking about decluttering if I lived in another type of culture, because this just doesn't happen. It's just crazy, the discontent and greed that runs rampant around here. And I can't do anything about everybody else's problems, but I can certainly do something about my own, and I can try to prevent those problems in my children, and that's where we're at. After 20 minutes, if you're still with me, God bless you. Like and subscribe, for goodness sakes, if you're not subscribed and you just sat through 20 minutes of me talking. It is time. It is time to push the button. Leave me a comment, something about your gift-giving habits, your shopping minimalizing habits, a way that the KonMari method or decluttering or minimalism has changed your life. Visit my blog post down below for some of the details I talked about. Okay, we'll see you later. Bye.